Hey, my conscious ones. Quick video I'm bringing to you friends today to talk about the Ghislaine Maxwell situation. I screamed because there were like 2 flying insects. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all, but it is what it is. Like, I have a terrible fear of insects, so what y'all gonna do? Get me some therapy or hypnosis or something, I don't know. Anyway, so listen, y'all. I put out a little video, I think it was the day before yesterday, like saying, listen, somebody needs to help Ghislaine. Somebody needs to help Ghislaine because she's in danger. Her life is definitely going to be taken. So what they're going to do, in my opinion, is it's going to be a false flag situation. Now, a false flag, I mean, a lot of you friends may have heard of that term, but for those that have not, a false flag is when the government, they create some type of catastrophic event. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I can't take this. Oh my goodness, I gotta get some off spray. I really don't like the summer. I'm sorry, friends. My video, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. Oh my goodness. I'm walking to my commuter train, and then only to know now that I'm gonna miss it, and now it doesn't come until like another, I think like 40 minutes or so. So anyway, so now the false flag is when a government creates like some type of, like I said, catastrophic event, and they stage it, they create it, and then they pretend to be like, to save the day. Or they make it to where, obviously it's for a reason. Like, for example, with 9/11, that was a false flag because the real mission was the oil. It never was the WMDs, the weapons of mass destruction. So that's an example where they create a fake war, a fake event, which is, the planes going into the towers. And then once the planes go into the towers, now they issue a war on terror. They create this whole campaign and fear-mongering propaganda about, the Middle East and, Islam and all that type of stuff. And so they do that because they want the oil. But they can't just go into a country, invade it, pillage, rape, and plunder. Well, they did that, 200-300 years ago. But they can't do it. No, I'm going to whip my ass. They can't do it until, hold on, friends. I'm trying to cross a highway. And so, safety's first. Oh, it's going to be a wicked day today. So, like I said, they create this event and only to have it done because obviously, they want to create some new laws. They want to, in essence, steal our rights, right? They want to attack our freedoms, right? They want an all-on assault for our sovereign rights, right? So, trying to think if I should walk down this way. Yeah, the street is so busted up. But so now, back to the Ghislaine. So now with the whole Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell. So for those of you that don't know, Ghislaine Maxwell is the former girlfriend of billionaire sex pedo, allegedly, Jeffrey Epstein. And so, first of all, Jeffrey wasn't, Jeffrey didn't kill himself, okay? So if any of you friends believe that he really committed suicide, you're just sorely mistaken. Respectfully, you got it all wrong. One thing about Jeffrey was, as people know, a full-fledged Class A certified narcissist. And when you're a narcissist and you have that God complex, like, prison wouldn't intimidate him. Doing life in jail, it would not matter to a narcissist like that, because one, he has the influence and the power to be able to have gotten out of that. The influence he has, both domestic and international, is no way, you understand? It's no way he took himself out. He would have never killed himself. He thought too highly of himself. And he thought even higher himself to be so higher than the system. So do you think that he really thought that, wow, I'm going to go to jail for 50,000 years? No, that never came across his mind. He was never bothered by that. That wasn't no fear of his. So, and I mean, in some, he had no motivation to kill himself. Think about it, friends. Use your thinking brains, right? And so it just didn't happen. It did not happen. All right? He was taken out. Let me tell you something. If you would trust a government, right, that has already proven itself to be so evil, so maniacal, so sadistic, so godless, that they would even take out their own. Their own. Anybody ever heard of the JFK assassination? Oh, okay. Well, that's just one very, very, very major fact. We know that Lee Harvey Oswald, oh my God, the name sounded so crazy. Coming out of my mouth, like I can almost pronounce it. And so, obviously, we all know that he was a pansy, right? The fall guy. And so, friends, just think about the rich history of the American government of the United States. I mean, we could be here for several hours listing the atrocities that they've done, not only to other countries and its citizens, but to their very own. Duh. Is it not making sense? So now, let me get back to Ghislaine. So now, we have Ghislaine Maxwell in prison. I believe she's in Terre Haute. That's in Indiana. She's at I think it's a FCI. Or if it's not an FCI, which is a Federal Correction Institution, I don't know, but and when I say that, that's just like the MDC, the FCI. Those are like, kind of like the type of classifications within the BOP. Like with the MDC, that's administration. That's an administrative jail, if you will. And so, these inmates are pre-trial, this, that, and the third. But like I said, or FDC, like my sister retired as a manager for an FTC, which is a federal detention camp. And so I think she might be at a FDC. No, federal detention, it's not camp. It might be. It's been a long time since my BOP days. But anyway, so getting back to Ghislaine, she will be killed because now all of a sudden, with this whole emerging of these Epstein files, see, this is how the government does. They create these, these kind of pieces, if you will, right? They throw this out, they throw that out, right? All in hopes that, everybody will follow the breadcrumbs. And so now with the whole Epstein thing, obviously now Ghislaine is in the spotlight. And as she's now in the spotlight, now all of a sudden, she's ready to testify before Congress, and her attorneys went earlier this week to Tallahassee. I think it's in Tallahassee. I'm sorry, it's not Terre Haute is in Indiana. It's a different facility in Tallahassee. Yeah, I'm not too sure. But anyway, her attorneys went earlier this week to, I think, initially give her, take an initial sit down with her. Nothing really concrete was done, pretty much. But the real thing is now she's being asked to speak before Congress, and she will not. Unfortunately, she won't make it. She won't be alive. It's sad, but that's my prediction. And I think this is how they're going to play it out, right? They're going to have a female correction officer kill her, stab her up, and kill her, right? Because they're not going to do the suicide thing. That would be too close for comfort. Okay, that would really cause a lot of too many eyes, right? And so they know that people are not that crazy, are not that dumb, right? Or not that sleep. And so what they're gonna do is it'll be a female inmate who somehow was a victim of sex trafficking as a little girl, and has mental deficits and mental health issues, and suddenly she killed her children, perhaps, or she stabbed her roommate, or she went through some psychotic episode that caused her to kill somebody, stab somebody in cold blood. It has to be stabbing, because that has to be the MO. So now what will happen is that Ghislaine is she's in the SHU, right? And for those of you that don't know about corrections, the SHU is Special Housing Unit, okay? And depending on the classification in SHU, you can have a 1-person cell or a 2-person cell, right? Or I've even seen 3 people in a cell in SHU. And so again, according to, depending on your classification, you may need a 2-man move, a 3-man, a 4-man, et cetera, meaning that that's the amount of staff that has to transport you. 3-man move will probably be a lieutenant and 2 officers. A 4-man move might be a captain, a lieutenant, 2 officers, or something of that nature, right? And so you're allowed out for a certain allotted time. And so now how they're going to play it is that this female inmate, they brought her in. She had to be housed in the special housing unit, the SHU, as well. And so, they'll blame it on a rookie correction officer, or they'll blame it on staff, budget issues, a lack of staff, which, literally is true. The BOP, they're not lying about being understaffed. That's a fact. And so, because it's a really disgusting agency, and so people want no parts of it. And so they're highly understaffed nationwide. And so they'll blame it on either that, the staff shortage, or a rookie staff because of the staff shortage. They had a officer that wasn't even, that hadn't even finished Glencoe. And Glencoe is the federal law enforcement training center in Georgia, in New Brunswick, Georgia. I think they have several others throughout the country, but that's the one I know about. And so that'll be their excuse as to how this terrible tragedy, this violent, vicious, murderous event took place, right? And so this is what will happen. Somehow Ghislaine will have come out of her cell, right? Either on the rec deck, which is, usually enclosed, right? In the shoe. And so where she's supposed to be out there by herself, right? But there's cells. There's like cells by cells sometimes. I mean, I don't know, like every institution may be built differently, but anyway, this is what they'll say. And so somehow this other crazy female inmate that will be her killer, she somehow will be outside of, somehow out of her cell as well. And there'll be some type of medical emergency, right? Somebody will hit a button, meaning a medical emergency. Somebody's like, having a heart attack, somebody's having a stroke, or it'll be some type of fight where, or an assault on staff, any type of distraction, right, that would take officers or the officer away from that area with that inmate, because automatically you're just like, you hear that alarm go off, you're responding. And so when that officer responds to that medical emergency or that staff on assault or whatever type of, institutional issue, that's when the killer will go into action. And when the alarm is cleared, when a medical emergency is cleared, when everything is cleared and it's announced that, because normally it's like a recall when those things happen, or, the institution kind of shuts down. And so once operations resume and they go back to their respective posts, there they'll find Ghislaine in a pool of blood with probably 40, 50 stab wounds. And so I believe that is what will happen to Ghislaine. I mean, I don't wish that on, this sounds so cliche. Oh, I don't want to wish that on my worst enemy. I don't have enemies. And so that term to me is just like, it's useless. But I mean, that's an awful situation. And even with Epstein, no matter what these people have done, they're still human beings, and nobody has the right to take their lives from them. Only God has that power. So, that's my perspective on that. But yeah, I don't think, I believe it's August 7th, Ghislaine is supposed to go and speak before Congress. And I don't think that she's going to make it. I don't think she's going to make it. Or even if she does, we won't see an ending to that, unfortunately. Well, we will, and it won't be the one that we're expecting. It will be one that's quite unfortunate. And I just recently kind of glazed over something online where they're saying that her brother, her family, they're really afraid for her. They're really, really afraid for her, and they do believe that she will be killed in prison, as do I. And so, it's nasty work. And what they're saying, it's not about, oh, Trump is gonna kill her. People like, people. No. See, what you don't know is that it's bigger than Trump. Like, come on, friends. We know that these people are put in positions. We know that there is no real democracy. We know that there's a shadow government, okay, that really runs things, and, those that are in so-called power take their orders from, okay? The people that we do not see, okay? We know the billionaires and all of that, and we know that, they're all a part of this globalist conglomerate, but trust me, it's nasty out there, and, it's just a sad thing. It's a really sad thing. But, I'm keeping good energy for Ghislaine. I'm thinking positive, and, I'm hoping that, she has protection in terms of, who knows, the universe. No one knows her life. I mean, yeah, we know what we've read and seen and things like that, but we don't know who's connected to source. We don't know who's really, really divinely, created in a way that, they're just protected. We just don't know that. But anyway, friends, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. The post that I initially put up was a quick short. I got some comments, some really, really interesting comments, some really intelligent comments, and so I'm grateful for the feedback, friends. I love to answer, look at your comments, and I reply, and so this is New Life Raw Evolution. For more videos like this, like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Until next time, friends.